so excited today that we have a special guest, Luisa Montalvo. Luisa came up second as a world champion of public speaking in 2019. With the power of using the word in a moving way, moving the audiences worldwide, she finally completed her wish and she became first in 2024 as a world champion of public speaking. She has a huge heart, big intentions, and she's engaged in the community. And I personally experienced her huge intentions and how she really there for us, for all of us. I am honored to welcome to our podcast, Luisa Montalvo. Please tell us about you a little bit more. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. And yes, we just recently met in San Diego, California. I was there last week and had a great time at your TLI. And it's just events like that that are able to allow me the privilege of meeting Toastmasters from all over the world. And it's just what I love to do. I love to travel. I love meeting new people. I love speaking on stage. So this event gave me all of those wrapped up in a nice, beautiful package. So yes, thank you for inviting me, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So let me ask you a question. What is there's more of you in than public speaking. So can you introduce to us more skills that you have or more layers? Because I know a lot of them and I want the audience also to know a little bit more about you.
Okay, great. Yes, absolutely. I worked at Abbott Laboratories for 25 years and retired at the age of 53. I moved back home to be close to my mom, which is here in South Texas. Had some great, amazing years with her, and I'm so glad I was able to do that. As soon as I retired, I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing, and I wound up finding myself in dog rescue, and this is homeless dogs. We have a sort of pandemic here in South Texas where we have too many homeless dogs on the streets, and I started donating my time and efforts to that cause. So between the Toastmasters and public speaking and homeless dogs, my plate is full almost. But it's something I love doing. I found it's my passion other than public speaking. And I'm so excited because I believe I'm getting very close to being able to fund or support a low-cost spay and neuter program here in South Texas. And I believe that will help eradicate the whole problem we have here with homeless dogs. So that's where my heart is.
Oh, thank you for your heart. It's definitely something that we need it worldwide. More people like you. So thank you for being there for the community, for the dogs, for people. You're there for everyone. So all the living creatures. So thank you for being there for us. And so knowing that you became a world public speaker at 2024, but before, can you tell us what led you to 2019 before even you stepped into the next level?
So as a child growing up, my mother was an Avon district manager, and she had 200 Avon ladies under her, all these representatives selling. And my mother had an eloquent way of speaking because she could command the room with ease. And we had meetings. Well, she had meetings every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And my brother and I would go to help her set up all the displays for all the products that Avon was selling. And I would sit there and just watch her. And the way she spoke was so eloquent, so profound. And I thought to myself, one day I'm going to be just like her. And I want to be able to speak to an audience the way she does. And the beauty of her being her, she actually asked me to speak in front of this audience of 200 women. And she said, please share with us what Avon product you use today. And as soon as I spoke for probably about 30 seconds, everybody applauded. And I was quickly addicted to the applause. And I said, this is what I want to do. And anytime I had the opportunity to speak, anytime on stage or anywhere, it's what I did. And I believe that's what it is. So I encourage all parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts that as soon as you have the ability to put a child in front of an audience, to do that, because public speaking is probably the number one fear, glossophobia, in the world. So I believe with the fact that that's what my mother did for me, I right now have no fear of public speaking. In fact, the larger the audience, the better I do. If I'm speaking to 2,000 people, it's great. If I'm speaking to 3 people, I get a little nervous because I can see each individual face staring at me. But with 2,000 people, it's, oh my gosh. And then the audience gives you an energy, and I just feed off of that energy. The more people you have in front of me or you give me, the better I feel. So that was all started with my mother and her infinite wisdom of knowing that if she put me in front of an audience at an early age, it would be either something I love to do or something that would be easy for me to do. And it's both.
So thank you to your mom.
Yes.
For you being here today and inspire so many lives. I know that sometimes you of service, and we spoke about it, and sometimes you don't know how inspirational you are. So I'm here to tell you that you inspire so many people, and every person that I heard your name from, they all inspired by you, and they all have only good things to tell about you. The way that you approach things, the way that you show up, the way that you put your heart in things. I want to take a moment before we move on and celebrate not your win, but your failures. And I want to see and you to share how many times you failed before you got to this point. And failures, it's there to celebrate. It's not to point out that, oh, we are failing. No, we are there to fail in life and become better in the next level. So I want really to point that out and see your approach on this one.
Absolutely. In fact, I believe it was Nelson Mandela that said, I don't lose, I learn. So anytime that I did not take home a trophy or did not place in a contest, it was time for me to go back, reflect, reinvent myself, and try to find out what it was the audience or judges were looking for. And I think I did the tally comes to failing or not winning a contest 44 times.
Mm.
So with that, the one thing that I try to let people know, and this is with almost anything and everything in your life, is that if something doesn't happen the way we think it should happen, if we lose a contest, we take it personally. And that's the last thing we should do about any loss, about any failure, about something that doesn't go our way. There's one example that I use when I give my workshop on not winning and not taking it personally. I say, imagine you're going into the store one day to buy a pair of shoes, and there's a black pair of shoes and there's a brown pair of shoes. They're the same size, same color, same price, same maker. You put them both on, they both feel great. But you buy the brown pair of shoes that day. Did the black pair of shoes do anything wrong?
Mm-hmm.
No. It just happened to be that you were shopping. You were looking for a brown pair of shoes that day. And so the judges and the audience are in a certain frame and mindset. And so that day they bought the brown pair of shoes and you were the black pair of shoes. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You just weren't what the judges were looking for that day.
Yes.
Which is why I came up with the way to win anything or the way to win a speech contest is you have to say the right thing at the right time on the right day to the right judges. And people, exactly, people will ask me, how do you do that? And I tell them, I have no idea. There's so many times I thought I was going to win and I wouldn't even place. And the first time that happened, I took it personally. I thought, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. I just wasn't the brown pair of shoes that day.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I'm still in the contest. I need to hear that.
Yes, absolutely.
If I won't be selected, it's not because I'm black pair of shoes. It's just because the day off, like, but we never know. It's a work in progress all the time. So I really want to see what this one skill that brought you from 2019 to keep going to 2024 and really become the world champion of public speaking?
Well, I have to admit it wasn't because of me, because for 7 years, I was trying to get to the world stage in Toastmasters. And when I finally made it to the stage in 2019, I came in second in the world. And when you have 33,000 people trying to get to first place and you're second place, I thought, well, that's great. I'm good. I'm done. And I thought, I won't compete anymore. I'm happy with second. But I went to Puebla, Mexico for their district conference. And after I gave my keynote, people were lining up. We were taking pictures. We were talking. And one lady came up to me and said, you know, you're the first Hispanic to make it in the top 3. And I did not know that. I said, really? She said, yes. I said, wow, thank you. She said, yes, congratulations. And she went to turn to leave. She turned back around. She says, oh, Luisa, by the way, good luck on your quest for first place in the world. And I thought, wait, I had to do this another 7 years? Are you kidding me? I said, I'm happy with second. You're not happy with second? And she said, Luisa, if anybody can do it, you can. And I thought, well, okay, here I go again. It's going to be another 7 years. But it was the journey that I didn't know I needed. There were factors that gave me a different perspective because I was all laughing, joking, having a great time. And I went through, I believe, a series 3 setbacks in my life. And it gave me a different perspective, which I thought I already had every perspective I needed for life. But it was 3 hardships. And I wanted to let my audience know that no matter what they're going through, it's going to be okay. You're going to make it. And if you don't make it, you don't know it. So, if you pass away in the process, well, you didn't know that you didn't make it. You actually made it to the finish line. You actually won the race. So that was, I guess, my mindset in 2024, different from 2019.
This is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. It's definitely just to be out there and to say, okay, if I'm second, I can be first. I think this is something, the mindset really that helped. But what I do want to focus on the Tell Me More podcast, which is more about how we allow people to lean in and ask you, tell me more. And a lot of people come to you after keynote, and I saw it personally. I came to you, before and after, and we talked about it. And tell me more. I'm so curious to know more. How do you make it happen? How do you allow people, what language do you use for people to lean in and ask you those questions?
So I believe the technique that I use that I don't even know I have is I've seen speakers and we've gone through stages back when I want to say at least maybe 50 years ago. I think it was 50 years ago. Every speaker stood behind a podium or a lectern and they gave a speech. In other words, I'm going to talk to you about this, so everybody listen. There was no interaction. There was almost no connection. It was just a speaker giving a speech. And then we shifted from that to someone stepped away from the podium or the lectern. Oh, I have the whole stage I can use now. So then we came, I believe, into an era that I call the theatrics of a speech, where people said, oh, I can go over here and I can go over there. I can do this all with my hands. And it was kind of a battle of who could get the more attention while they were on stage. And I think we're now shifting away from that. And I think the gift I have is I make my speeches conversational. In fact, the way I'm talking to you right now is the way I give a speech. I don't get up there and project a different voice and command authority. I don't do that. I talk to you, I talk to the audience like you're my best friend and I've got a story. Oh my gosh, let me tell you this. You're never going to believe this. And so the way I'm talking to you right now is the way I give a speech. And I think once the audience is able to connect with you, it's like having a best friend that you didn't know you needed. You're like, oh my gosh, and then what happened? And so that's how you get the audience involved. You make them feel like they're your best friend, and you can't wait to tell them this story. And they can't wait to listen because we all love stories.
Yes, 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 yes. So how do you move from this authority commanding the room, which we want, but we can do it in a soft way, and moving away from there to conversational and talking to your audience like a best friend? How do you move away? What would you tell those people who really like robotic and really stressed and really need to say those things, techniques, instead of just that and moving into conversation?
Well, to be honest, I have no idea because I was never that person. I was never you better listen to me. I was never that. That would have been my father. Had my father been a public speaker, that would have been him. But my mother was, okay, so today we're going to have to get out there on the streets. We're going to have to sell some Avon. Okay, if you want to make more money, this is what we got to do. And she spoke to you like you were best friends or good friends. And I believe that if the speaker can put their mind into that frame of mindset, it actually not only is it easier for the audience to listen to the speaker, but it's easier for the speaker because you don't have to step into any kind of role. You don't have to be authoritative. You don't have to be theatrical. You just have to be you. And however you tell a story, that's how you tell a story. Now, are there ways to tell a story better than others? Yes, absolutely. And in that, once you are able to master that, bring it to a really good point where people come up to you after you speak and say, oh my gosh, I felt like you were talking to just me. That's when you've nailed it. How do I do it? I'm not sure, but I do know that if I get a workshop put together or write a book on it, it will be a success because everybody wants to know.
Everybody wants to know, and there is one thing that I share, at least when I speak and when people ask me this question, and I see that you don't know how natural you are. So let me tell you why you are like that. Because I
Okay,
see that.
good.
I definitely see
Yes.
that.
Yes,
let me
please tell
let
me.
me
That way,
tell
when
you.
somebody else asks me, I'll have the answer.
Yes. So because you care. You care. You truly care, and you're not there for yourself. You are there for others. You are there for really delivering the message to come through to the audience so they will understand the transformation of what you share and not how I'm showing up right now. And once we shift the focus, I believe this is where the secret and all the benefits are stored. And that's why you're so beautiful. Your intention is really showing for distances, and it's so beautiful to see and observe you. And I was in the audience when you spoke on stage. I definitely could say that you spoke directly to me, even though I was one of many. So it's so beautiful, and this is an important skill. I think it's one of the skills that everyone would want to know, because then you touch hearts individually and not, okay, now I'm here to deliver a message. It's about me. I'm done. No, it's not. You care and you put your heart. So my next question to you is, what was the best reaction from the audience that you saw when you spoke?
When I was young, my father and my brother and I, along with my mother and sister, would sit around the table, and my father was a comedian. And so then it started that my brother would chime in and try to top whatever line my father had said and try to make everybody laugh. And then I would try to top that line and make everybody, all of us laugh. And then my brother would say something, and then my father. So it was every dinner was a competition to see who was going to get everybody to laugh more. So I feel there are people that are born comedians, but I think I've been working at this since I was maybe 10 years old. And for me, the reaction that means absolutely everything is when I have the ability to make the audience laugh. Because some people will come up after and say, how do you do that? And again, I say, I don't know, because this is something that I've been doing since I was a kid. So for me, the best reaction that an audience could give me is laughter. because if you can follow my train of thought, my way of thinking, and you think what I say is funny, oh my gosh, yeah, it's, to me, it's everything. Someone came up to me, and once they told me this, I think I've now received it as my mantra. But anytime I give a speech, I'm going to make you laugh, I'm going to make you cry, and I'm going to send you home with a message. So that's kind of what I do. And once I think you do that, you don't want your audience to cry too much. You don't want your audience to laugh too much unless you're competing in a humorous contest, then it's good. And you want to send them home with a message because of not what was the reason of your speech. So I think those are the three main things that I do. I go back and watch my speeches, and it's true. I will take you on an emotional roller coaster and hang on. You know, I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to make you cry. I'm going to have you afraid. I'm going to have you jumping for joy. I'm going to have you cheery. And then I'm going to say thank you and goodbye.
Oh, beautiful. So, you know what? I'm curious about something, and I'm sure that the audience would love to hear about that as well. When I practice my speeches, I practice a lot because I want to deliver the best version of my speech. But then how do you practice your speech a lot and not lose the connection to the emotion?
Now that I have the answer to.
Yes.
Believe it or not. So you have your speech, you've got it written down. You say it a few times and you have like the theatrics going through your head, what you're going to do when you're on stage, how you sound. So that the very first 5 times you give that speech, you feel the energy, you feel all the newness. So you grab your phone or any recording device. I grab my phone. I go to voice memo. I hit record. And then I'm going to read my speech so that I read it perfectly. And I'm going to put all the energy and excitement and feeling into it. And I record it. And if I like the recording, then that's what I listen to for the next 2 to 3 to 4 months. Why? Because that sounds fresh. It was the very first time. I can give you the speech I gave in 2019. I can give it to you now, and it's going to sound exactly the same way as it sounded on stage. Why? Because that's how I practiced it. Why do we sing happy birthday to you? Happy birthday to you. Why do we always sing the same song the same way? Because that's how we've heard it over and over. So if you record your speech at the very beginning of when you're just practicing it, when you've just completed it, listen to that recording over and over. You will sound fresh day 1 and you will sound fresh year 1.
What a beautiful advice. Oh my God. It's such a beautiful advice. I love that. It's really to take you emotionally to the first time that you delivered it when you were so sensitive and emotional about that,
Yes.
then to bring back the emotions. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So when people, I do want you to give advice to people who hesitant. Should I bring my voice out there? Should I even try to go? And sometimes when we have hesitations, and you talk a lot about fears. What would you say to those people who has hesitations in their mind and don't feel that they really gonna get there? Whatever it is, it can be public speaking, it can be anything in life.
So I tend to start my sentences with so a lot. I'm gonna have to try not to do that. My mother came to visit me one time when I was living in Austin, and I had a big cage set up in the corner of the hallway. And she looked and she said, "What's there?" I said, "Mom, I have my pet snakes in there. 2 beautiful boa, not boa, yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember the breed, the name, the species. 2 snakes." And she said, "Oh." And she was afraid to go near them and go to her bedroom. I said, "Mom, they're not going to do anything to you. I can take them out and I can hold them." And she said, "I know, don't do that." I said, "What are you afraid of, Mom?" She said, "Well, I don't know, that they'll bite me." I said, "They don't bite, Mom. They only do that when they're hungry, and I just fed them." So she said, "Really?" I said, "Look." And I opened the door. I pulled out my snake. I put him on my neck, and I said, "That's it." I said, do you want to hold him? And she said, no. I said, what are you afraid of, Mom? She was, I don't know. I said, you see, fear is taught. If you put a 2-year-old baby down and you put a snake next to it, it doesn't go, oh, why? Because fear is taught. We are taught to be afraid of things. As I was explaining in my keynote, how my mother was trying to teach us her fears. And my father said, hey, they're going to grow up with their own fears. Don't give them your fears too. So I said, come on, Mom, just put it around your neck for 2 seconds. Nothing's going to happen. And she looked at me, she said, okay. So I put the snake around her neck for 2 seconds and she said, okay, I'm finished. I said, okay. And I took it off. I said, but she tried it.
Yes.
She didn't ever want to hold the snake again, but she tried it. So for people that are afraid of a contest, what are you afraid of? You're afraid that the audience is going to make fun of you. You're the one on stage. You should be making fun of them for not trying to get on stage in a contest. We don't make fun of people, but if you stop and think about it, you're the one with the courage. You're the one getting up on stage. You're going past your limitations. You're thinking outside the box. You're conquering a fear. And if you can conquer public speaking, which is the worst or the number one fear, what can you not conquer?
Yes,
And you know what? Try it once, like my mom. Okay, take it off. Take the snake off. Okay, fine. Try it once. Hey, it's not for you. It's not for you. But next time when somebody says, hey, you want to do the contest? You want to join the contest? No, I've done it. Thanks. You want me to help run the contest? I can do that. But I've already tried it. I think we limit ourselves because of fear. And that's a shame because I know that I've had so many beautiful experiences because I have no fear of anything. Because anytime anybody comes up to me and says, hey, Luisa, do you want to? Yes. They haven't even finished the sentence. And I say, yes. Why? Because it's going to give me an experience, whatever it is. Yes. Yeah. Let's try it. Let me do it. Let's do this. And when people say, I have nothing to give a speech about, I don't have a story. You don't have a story because you're not out there living life, doing things past your fear. And man, when you get on stage, you still have that exhilaration of, I was scared to whitewater raft. I was scared to hold a snake. I was scared, but you did it. You conquered your fear. And that's what I suggest to anybody that is thinking, well, contests are not for me. How do you know if you haven't tried it? I don't know. I think everybody should do at least one contest or join or try to participate in one contest. You lose. You lose and you learn. And that's it. And if you win, you just might be the world's next best speaker.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So one more question that I have for you, and I kind of feel that you have an answer for this question because when we on stages, we sell services. There's a lot of services that people want to bring to the world. It can be products, it can be services. If a person from stage trying to sell their service and the audience and the service is really good, let's say service or product, it's really good, it can be number one, but the audience doesn't buy into it, do you have an advice like how to use the words, or what is it that's something that the speaker can do better from stage for people to tell me more about what you represent?
I think it might, I know it's in two things. It's in the way the product is presented, and it's the way the speaker, it's what the speaker's connection is to the product.
Mm-hmm.
If a speaker goes on there, and of course, I'm not saying anything against this, if you've got a lot of gold jewelry on or an expensive watch or, okay, I get it where salesmen and business people are trying to sell their product because not only does it benefit them from the sale, but it benefits the audience. And that's great. And to me, I believe the more humble you are about a product, the more honest you are about a product, that's going to have your audience wanting to support you. You see, I don't charge for my speeches with Toastmasters because it's in the rule book. We are not allowed to charge.
Mm-hmm.
And so people tell me, you need to be out on the circuit as a paid speaker. And I'm thinking, I'm comfortable. I have a little money. I don't have a lot of money. I live comfortably. I'm happy now. Why would I go and start charging large amounts of money for a speech? And somebody said, well, wouldn't it help your dogs? Oh, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
See, if I make money from speeches, then I can turn around and put that money into a program to help the homeless dogs here. Oh my gosh, they're right. But see, I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yes.
Because I think the only way I saw it advancing anything or anyone, it was going to advance me, and I'm okay where I am.
Mm.
I'm fine. I'm comfortable where I am. But then I thought, wait a minute. I know 30 years ago, if you would have said, hey, you just won the lotto, you won $1 million. I would have thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get a really nice big house. I'm going to get a big fancy car. I'm going to go out shopping. But now you tell me I can give you $1 million. You just won $1 million. I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know how many dogs I can save? And so that's it. And if you put whatever it is you're selling, if you let the audience know what it's going to benefit, there you go. If I got up on stage and said, I'm going to sell this book, I'm going to write this book, and all the proceeds that go to it are going to help me buy this really big house that I've been wanting. And I was like, wait, what? And ironically, that's usually why people sell stuff. It's to advance themselves. So that's why I think we have that little negative taste in our mouth when somebody tries to get on stage and sell something. But if I get up there and say, with all the love in my heart, that whatever money I make off the books I'm going to sell, off the speeches I'm going to give, I'm going to donate it and invest it into saving homeless dogs.
Yes.
I probably won't even have to give a speech. I'll have checks coming in. And you can check my bank account at any time and day and see that it's not the 6 or 7 figures that you think it is. But if you look in my backyard and I've got 8 dogs, well, there you go.
This is beautiful, Luisa. It's definitely where your energy goes, and it's definitely, like you said, I will summarize just quickly what you said. It's the connection to the product and service, and also, is it about me? Is it benefiting me, or is it benefiting the community? This is the question. And when we go and we donate, and we are there for the community, and we're there for certain service that can benefit and make the world better. And this is how I start approaching that as well. It's not about me, it's how I can grow bigger. And people like you must be millionaires. We need to save dogs. So write your book and let's go to the next level already with your book and with all your services that you provide. And I definitely see your big success. And if you have any last things that you want to share with the audience, I would love to hear.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things anybody's ever told me.
Ooh.
Where you said people like you need to be millionaires. Wow. Okay, so she's not happy about it because she was sleeping right now. So okay, I'll let you go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Yeah. Right here by my side all the time. The last thing I would want to leave you with is, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and allowing me to share what is near and dear to my heart now. I feel I have a lot to do, and I hope I don't run out of time. And if I do, I won't know it. But there's so many people out there. See, it didn't cost you anything to go up and say some nice, kind things to me when I was there at the TLI. It didn't cost you anything. All it was your kindness. And I'm seeing that that's what's needed right now to change this world, to help us turn around from where we're going. I think we lack a lot of kindness. I thank you for inviting me on here and allowing me to share what I wanted to say and what's near and dear to my heart. Sometimes we don't get to do that when we're on stage because certain things are expected of us when we're on stage, and here's the agenda and here's the itinerary and
Yes.
follow this, and that's what it usually is. So to be able to freely express what I wanted to today, I thank you for that. For those of you that are considering, and it doesn't have to be a contest, it can be anything in your life, you know, a new relationship, a family, a home, a car, a job, whatever it is, you know, try it. Just try something new, try something different. And I know for a lot of people, it's hard to get out of your comfort zone. It truly is. It's hard for me to get out of my comfort zone. So I think one of the things I need to do, other than suggesting what people do, is maybe start listening to myself, which is which is hard to do because I can tell anybody and everybody, hey, you should be doing this. But when somebody turns around and says, well, are you writing that book yet? Are you working on, you know, getting paid to speak? Oh no, not really. We'll do it. We'll start. So again, thank you for the invitation to allow me to be here and on your platform and speak from my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Luisa, for being who you are and allowing me to have this honest and deep conversation today. And for all the listeners, the links for Luisa and to connect with her will be under this video or podcast. And we are all here for each other. Let's grow together, bigger, stronger, united with a lot of kindness to each other. So thank you, and I'll see you around.